have you ever, actually won an argument? I mean, really think about it.
Oh, you mean where you just completely corner someone with pure logic?
Yes, you pile up the evidence, you bring all the facts, maybe you even pull up the literal receipts on your phone.
And you just prove them unequivocally entirely wrong.
Exactly. And when you do that, do they ever just, wrap you in a massive hug and thank you for correcting them?
Yeah, no. That has literally never happened in the history of human communication.
Right. They almost certainly just shut down, or they get super defensive, or they walk away harboring this, quiet, simmering resentment.
Oh, for sure.
So today on the Deep Dive, we are exploring the psychology of communication. Specifically, we're looking at why battling it out with facts is essentially a psychological dead end.
It really is.
We are pulling from Dale Carnegie's classic behavioral frameworks, and we're pairing that with some recent neurological studies on conflict resolution, just to understand how to actually get through to people.
Because when we look at the source material for this deep dive, there is this profound truth at the center of human interaction, and it was captured perfectly by Carnegie. He said, "A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still."
Wow. Yeah.
We spend enormous amounts of energy, right, trying to force people to agree with us through sheer force of logic.
Oh, constantly.
But the reality is when we win an argument on pure logic, we almost always lose the relationship.
I really want to break down that phrase, convinced against his will, because it implies this kind of psychological force,
Okay.
Like, if I tell you that 2 + 2 is 4, you don't feel backed into a corner.
No, not at all.
But if I use objective facts to completely dismantle your project plan or, your political opinion or even just your approach to household chores,
Oh, suddenly the walls go up.
instantly, what is actually happening in the brain there? Like, what turns a factual correction into an actual battlefield?
Well, it comes down to a really fundamental rule of neuroscience. And that rule is that emotions always travel faster than logic.
Always.
Always. The human brain processes emotional threats. So like a threat to our ego, our status, or our identity, it processes those milliseconds before it even begins to process the logical content of what is being said.
Really? Milliseconds before?
Yeah, it's the amygdala. That's our brain's threat detector. And the crazy thing is, the amygdala doesn't distinguish between a physical threat, like, say, a predator in the bushes,
Right.
and a social threat, like being told our idea is stupid in front of all our peers in a meeting.
So before they even register the brilliant spreadsheet of facts I've just laid out for them, their brain has already sounded the alarm that they are under physical attack.
Exactly. The prefrontal cortex, which is the logical part of the brain, is essentially bypassed completely in that moment.
That is wild.
But evolutionarily, it actually makes perfect sense. I mean, for our hunter-gatherer ancestors, being socially humiliated or rejected by the tribe meant exile.
And exile meant death.
Exactly, certain death. So our brains are literally hardwired to treat an attack on our confidence as a life or death scenario.
Which totally explains why arguing with pure logic feels like playing a giant game of emotional whack-a-mole.
That is a great way to put it.
Because, you might have the facts on your side, you take your giant mallet of logic and you just smash down their faulty argument.
Right, boom.
But you haven't actually solved anything. Their bruised ego and their resentment, they just pop up out of another hole 3 seconds later.
Oh, absolutely. It shows up as passive aggression, or suddenly they're blocking your next idea.
Yeah, you're just hitting the symptoms, you're not treating the root cause.
And the root cause is their activated defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You literally cannot correct a bad idea until you have disabled that mechanism.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Think of it like trying to perform surgery while the patient is actively fighting you on the operating table.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, that wouldn't work.
You have to administer the anesthesia first.
Right.
In communication, that anesthesia is empathy and validation.
Empathy and validation.
Yeah. You have to signal to their nervous system that you are safe, that you are on their side, before any logical problem solving can even occur.
Okay, I have to push back on this, though.
Sure, go for it.
Because I really struggle with the practical application here. If being factually correct just makes the other person feel attacked, how do we ever fix anything? Are we supposed to just let people be wrong? If my coworker brings a terrible, department bankrupting plan to a meeting, do I just smile and nod to protect their feelings?
No.
Because that feels dangerously close to just endorsing a disaster.
Right, and that's a common misconception. The goal isn't to let bad ideas win or
Yeah.
to, coddle incompetence.
Okay, good.
The goal is to shift your initial objective. You have to move from I need to prove them wrong to I need to align with their vision.
Align with their vision.
Exactly. You can validate their intent without validating their faulty facts.
Okay, let's put that to the test. Let's move this out of the abstract theory and look at a really concrete, high-stakes environment where people are notoriously protective of their egos.
The workplace.
The workplace. Picture this. You're in a team meeting, a colleague stands up and proposes a project timeline that is wildly, unbelievably unrealistic.
We've all been in that meeting.
Right. I mean, they want to launch a 6-month software build in 3 weeks.
And the natural temptation for any competent professional in that room is to jump in and save the day with objective reality.
Exactly. So let's role play that natural temptation, the awkward, direct approach. I'll play the direct communicator and you play the colleague with the terrible timeline.
Sounds good.
Okay, here we go. That timeline is completely impossible. We don't have the budget to expedite this, and if we try to force this through, you're going to burn the entire engineering team out. Okay,
if we freeze right there and just look at the neurological cascade happening inside my brain right now.
Yeah, what's happening?
The fact that you are 100% factually correct is totally irrelevant.
Really? Even though I'm right about the budget?
Completely irrelevant. I instantly feel dismissed. And more importantly, I feel incompetent in front of the rest of the team. You didn't just attack my timeline, you attacked my professional credibility.
But wait, I only mentioned the budget and the engineering team. I didn't say you are stupid.
You didn't have to. Because emotions travel faster than logic, I am now in full-blown ego preservation mode.
The bear in the woods.
Exactly. My limbic system is steering the ship now. I will likely dig my heels in and defend this terrible timeline purely to save face.
Wow.
I will literally find obscure reasons why 3 weeks is actually possible, just to counter you. We are no longer discussing a launch date. We are in a dominance battle over a calendar.
And the throw-up from that extends way beyond the meeting, right? Like, let's say management sides with me, because obviously 3 weeks is impossible.
Right.
I still haven't really won. I won the point, sure, but I created an adversary on the team who is now nursing a grudge.
Exactly. So let's look at the alternative. Let's look at how we actually administer that psychological anesthesia we talked about.
Right, using empathy and validation.
Yes, but crucially, without endorsing the impossible timeline.
Okay, let's role-play the empathetic alternative. Same unrealistic timeline. But this time, I'm going to model validating your enthusiasm first, before introducing the constraints.
Okay, let's hear it.
I love how ambitious this goal is. It really shows how committed you are to getting this launch out, and I appreciate that energy. Let's look at our current resource map together. I want to make sure we can fully support your launch plan without crashing the team in the process.
Okay, the psychological landscape just completely shifted.
It felt different to say, honestly.
Right. By validating my ambition and my commitment first, you separated my personal worth from the spreadsheet. You signaled to my amygdala that you are a friend, not a foe.
And the facts haven't changed. The timeline is still impossible.
Exactly.
I haven't lied to you. I didn't say, yes, we can definitely do this in 3 weeks.
But you've removed the threat. We're no longer enemies fighting across a table. You've positioned us side by side.
Yeah.
We are now partners solving a shared resource puzzle. You preserved my ego, which gives me the psychological safety to actually look at the constraints with you.
So I guided you to the truth rather than beating you over the head with it.
Precisely. Partners solving a resource puzzle.
That framing really completely changes the dynamic. But, you know, I can hear a skeptic out there asking, isn't this just a subtle form of manipulation?
I hear that a lot.
Like you're using a psychological trick to get someone to drop their guard so you can dismantle their idea anyway.
Well, manipulation implies deception for selfish gain. What we're talking about here is emotional intelligence.
Okay, how so?
It's recognizing the biological reality of how human beings process information. If you know that throwing facts at someone will cause their brain to literally stop listening.
Which we know it does.
Right. And if you do it anyway, just to prove how smart you are, that is a failure of communication on your part.
Yeah.
Validating someone's effort isn't a trick. It's a genuine acknowledgement of their human dignity.
Wow, yeah.
And once that dignity is secured, the facts can finally do their job.
That makes total sense. Now, it's relatively straightforward to execute that in a boardroom, I think.
Sure.
You have your professional armor on, you're getting paid to be there, you can strategize and keep your cool.
Usually, yeah.
But the real stress test for Carnegie's principles isn't in a meeting at 10 a.m., it's at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday, in your kitchen, when you are completely exhausted and the emotional stakes are deeply, deeply personal.
Ah, the domestic clash, where all our best communication strategies usually just completely evaporate.
Exactly. So let's picture this scenario. Your partner promised to clean up the kitchen after dinner. You had a really long day, you go to put something away, and then there they are.
Oh, no.
Relaxing on the couch, scrolling on their phone while the sink is just overflowing with dishes.
The limbic system is going to have a literal field day with this one.
The direct, frustrated route is so incredibly tempting here. Let's act out the accusatory trap, leaning heavily into the aggressive absolutes we all default to when we're tired and resentful.
Go for it.
You always say you'll help, but you never do. I have to do everything around here.
Okay, let's break down the somatic elements of what just happened. Because when we talk about how to speak, it is rarely just about the words typed out on a page.
Right.
Communication is deeply physical. It's the physiological delivery. Notice what happens in a person's body when someone says, "you always," or "you never."
Honestly, just saying it out loud makes my jaw clench. Like my breathing actually gets shallower.
Yes, those absolute words are immediate biological triggers for defensiveness. The moment the brain hears "you never," it stops listening to the actual complaint about the kitchen.
Because it's a threat.
Exactly. It shifts into a hyper-defensive state, rapidly searching its memory banks for the one time, 3 years ago, that they did in fact empty the dishwasher, just so they can prove your absolute statement wrong.
It's the whack-a-mole all over again. I am genuinely overwhelmed by the messy kitchen today, but because I use the word never, we are suddenly in a courtroom drama litigating who did more chores in 2023.
And look at the physical delivery of an accusation like that. The pitch of the voice usually goes way up.
Yeah, you get shrill.
The speed of the words increases. There is no space, no pause. It is a literal auditory attack, and the body reacts with a massive cortisol spike.
So to counter this, the source material focuses heavily on somatic communication, right?
Yes, altering the physical act of how you deliver the message.
So before I even open my mouth, I need to physically regulate my own nervous system.
Exactly.
Like taking a deep breath, not rushing to fill the silence with my immediate anger, and consciously softening my vocal pitch.
Think of it like a hostage negotiator. When a negotiator is trying to de-escalate a crisis, they don't yell facts through a megaphone.
Right.
They drop their pitch. They slow their cadence. They use what's often called the late-night FM DJ voice.
Oh, I love that.
By doing that, they are actually utilizing mirror neurons. They are using their calm physical state to subconsciously regulate the nervous system of the agitated person.
Okay, let's model that thoughtful invitation then. Let's try the kitchen scenario again, but focusing on the pause, lowering the pitch, and abandoning the absolutes.
Let's do it.
Okay, take a deliberate breath. Slower, softer tone. I know you had a brutal week at work and you're just trying to decompress. Honestly, I'm feeling really overwhelmed by the state of the house tonight. Could we tackle this kitchen together for 10 minutes, or would you rather we just do it tomorrow morning?
Wow. The contrast is staggering.
It feels incredibly vulnerable to speak that way, though, when you are actually angry.
It does.
My instinct is to attack, to use anger as a shield. Replacing an aggressive accusation with "I'm feeling really overwhelmed" requires completely dropping that shield.
It does, but look at what dropping that shield accomplishes. By lowering your pitch and slowing down, you avoid triggering their fight or flight response. By starting with, "I know you had a brutal week," you are leading with empathy again. You acknowledge their reality, that they are tired, before you introduce your own reality.
Imagine being on the receiving end of that while sitting on the couch.
Right.
Like, you forgot the dishes, you were tired, your partner walks in, clearly stressed, but instead of attacking your character, they offer this honest expression of fatigue and a gentle invitation to collaborate. How incredibly hard is it to argue with that?
It's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
Because there is nothing to push back against. You haven't attacked them, so they don't need to defend themselves.
Wow.
You simply presented a shared problem, the messy kitchen, and offered two highly reasonable collaborative paths forward. Do we spend 10 minutes now, or do we tackle it in the morning?
It's so simple, but it requires such a massive override of our natural impulses.
Oh, absolutely.
Our default setting is just to conquer, to correct, and to win. We want the immediate satisfaction of dropping the logic hammer.
Which brings us to the ultimate synthesis of these principles. Whether we are dealing with the illusion of winning in a boardroom, or managing the speed of emotion in our living rooms, changing our words, isn't about being weak.
No.
Taking a pause, dropping our pitch, and validating before we educate it, it's a strategic, mature recognition of human psychology. It is accepting that human beings are emotional creatures first and logical creatures second.
You know, the source material offers a kind of golden rule for navigating this, a question to just keep in your back pocket.
I love this part.
The next time you find yourself in a tense situation, whether a colleague is presenting a flawed plan or a partner has dropped the ball at home and you feel that hot, visceral urge to correct them.
To pull up the receipts.
Exactly, to pull up the receipts and prove them wrong, take that deep breath and ask yourself, do I want to be right or do I want to be connected?
Do I want to be right or do I want to be connected?
Yeah.
It really is the ultimate crossroads of communication because 9 times out of 10, you literally cannot be both in the heat of the moment.
But doesn't prioritizing connection mean I just have to, swallow my feelings and let the other person walk all over me?
Not at all. Prioritizing connection doesn't mean abandoning your principles or your boundaries. It means creating the psychological conditions where your principles can actually be heard.
Ah, right.
If you don't establish the connection first, your factor just noise bouncing off a brick wall. Empathy is the key that unlocks the door, allowing the logic to finally enter the room.
It's the difference between trying to kick down a reinforced door and just taking the time to find the key.
Perfectly said. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want you to consider a relationship in your life right now that feels strained. Someone where the dynamic is burdened by constant friction.
Where every conversation feels like a low-level competition over who is right.
We all have at least one of those relationships. A colleague we dread meeting with, or a family member we constantly bicker with. If you consciously decided to abandon your need to win the very next disagreement with that person, if you focus entirely on their somatic experience, lowering your pitch, pausing, and prioritizing connection over conviction, how might that relationship fundamentally transform by this time next week?
That is a phenomenal challenge to carry with us. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We challenge you to take these Carnegie principles and these neurological insights into your real-world conversations this week. Notice your pitch, drop the absolutes, and see what happens when you put down the mallet of logic and start building connections instead. Until next time.